Hey yo, what's up y'all? DP19 with a quick little PSA and also a kind of comment about PSA. So we got a lot of people that I've seen, I always see it all the time, but I never made a video on it, bitching about PSA, like, oh, this grader fucked me, this and that. And if I'm being honest, no offense, most people cannot fucking grade properly. They just can't. They don't look at surface like at all. And I'm going to go over how much that impacts it, how it impacts it, and what it depends on, like which set you're talking about too. Like stuff like when I see NSP's videos, they'll be like, oh yeah, there's no print line, there's no whitening, centering 60/40, it's good. You know, it looks great, perfect, that's a 10. But then we don't look at the surface of it and then get surprised if we get like a 5, or like there's like a bend that's like not an actual bend, but you could see where the light kind of reflects differently. So I'm going to try to go over all that with y'all now and what to look for before grading your cards. At least MetaZoo wise. Other games, I mean, same thing, look at the surface and whatnot, but it's something that you need to do yourself just to kind of learn and figure out. Me showing it is fine, but when you do it in person, you'll see. And I'm more strict than most, so that's just a heads up. All right, so when we look at the card, look at the surface after everything before I showed you. Now, this is not an issue necessarily with, oh yeah, that's all fucking damage. But the print quality was shit. You got like little tiny scratches randomly, like scratch there. You got the shitty print quality, little pin dots there. Like, this is, in my opinion, is not a 10. I get it, it's the print quality of the card, but there's graders, and me included, that would not call this a 10 due to all those pin dots. Because if there's pin dots like that in a Yu-Gi-Oh card, they do not get 10s. They will not. And that's just how it is. While it doesn't affect the look of the card, it does impact it. So that's a big issue with Kickstarter, where you'll have the little pin dots and whatnot and the shitty surface. Then you go to CN1, and the print quality is not too far off. It's a similar issue. I don't grade CN1, and I don't really grade Kickstarter because of this issue, because most of them, it's not worth the risk of getting a 9, because if a grader sees that and they're like, oh, look at that, there's like pin dots. And I get it. It's like being a little nitpicky at times. But if you're spending $15, now it's $17 for regular bulk for TCG, you want to be sure it's going to get a 10. Like up there, it's just like a weird surface thing. It's not necessarily damage, but they might see that as like a little tiny indent right over there. Like you don't know. And you got to be more picky when picking these out, especially like depending on the grader. The grader does matter. Like some grader might see the surface of them all and be like, oh, that's fine. You know, that's just is what it is. And there's graders that don't fucking look at surface. I know that damn well, because I've gotten 10s on some cards that should not have gotten 10s because of like an indent on the surface, but whatever. I'll take it. And I don't know, if it's your money, if you don't care to blow the money, go for it. Fucking blow $15, $17 for a 9. If it's not expensive as hell, like a CN1 Mothman, don't fucking, or like a Kickstarter Mothman, don't submit it. Like, if you're not sure if this card's 100% a 10, don't fucking submit it. Don't give a greater reason to not give you a 10. We're going to show you real quick a play tester. Like something like this. These are hard to get in a 10. Almost impossible. I sold a 10 for $250 and I own a 10. It's definitely warped, but that usually does not, almost never impacts the grade. The centering is dog shit. A little nick down there, but that's not the point. The point is the back, the surface. People look at the surface, ignore the centering, be like, oh yeah, it's clean. Problem is, there's like a stamp imprint. It's not the whole stamp. It's not an outline. It's solely the line in the P. And I've graded a couple of these, and one of them still gave it a 10 because it's part of the stamp. To add to the grader's discretion, and it technically doesn't impact the look. but others see it and they'll knock off a grade for it because it is technically damage. It's not the fault of the card. It's the stamp that went a little thicker on the P was stamped a little harder, but that's considered, a surface issue. And people would look at that at the face and not look at the surface and be like, "Well, that's bullshit. This is a perfect 10 or this is this grade. The PSA just fucked me." No, you're probably just being a whiny bitch and you don't know how to grade, if I'm being honest. And y'all have seen my returns. I know what the fuck I'm doing. There's very few people in this world. There's probably one or two people that I say have a similar or as good grading style as me and are as picky. And there's a reason that they get 10s as well. There's a reason other people don't. And there's people that, just fucking raw dog it and take a guess and they still get 10s and good for them. But I'd rather be safe with my money than fucking just throw all this money for nothing. Like that's no, fuck that. So you saw the surface on the other ones. You have something like Grays, which is from Disclosure 1. And it was definitely a hard to find set, and print quality was dog shit. I don't have the hollow in front of me right now, but these usually had print lines, dog shit quality. On the face, it looks decent. There's a little white nick right there, but it looks decent. You would probably like, oh, that's a 9. And then you look at the surface, in the light, needs to be in the light. That corner has some weird going on with it. It's like rolled over a little bit, like when it cut it, kind of pushed it in a little bit. Similar-ish thing there. Bottom's okay. Bottom's okay. And then the top, you can see a little tiny nick right there. A little tiny blemish there, but that shouldn't really matter. It's stuff like that that people don't look at and people don't notice. Even like this one, you can see, it's kind of hard to get on camera actually. But there is a scratch that runs right over there. I don't know if I can get on camera or not. But stuff like that, little tiny indent right there. Stuff like that. People don't grade and look at the card like this. They don't. And y'all should know, I have dog shit lighting. There is no reason me and my dog shit lighting should be able to look at a card and grade it better than most people. That doesn't make any sense. You just need to try. But then there's people that force it and they're like fucking jewelers looping shit. It's like, bruh, you can do that. That's fine. I'm not going to knock you for it. But that's going a little bit overboard. If you can't see it with your naked eye, a grader ain't fucking seeing it. Like, let's be honest. If you squint one of your eyes and hyper focus and put your eye close as shit to it and you still don't notice it, you're doing too much. You're spending too much time now. And being overcritical. I had one guy on one of my buddies' graded cards that he sent off from a sale, and the dude fucking was like, "This isn't a PSA 10. Look at this in a black light. This is damage here, damage there. This is ridiculous. This isn't the true PSA 10." It's like, you fucking virgin, what the fuck are you doing? You got nothing but it. They graded it. It's not his fault that the company graded it a grade that you don't think it deserved. Like, that ain't his fucking problem. The shit you see with some people is wild. Those people go overboard. Let's look at the last 4 cards. It also helps with seeing like evolution of MetaZoo's print quality. This one, these were more susceptible to scratches, and I don't think this one really had any. Remember, I had an issue. This is also from MetaZoo 30th anniversary. It was a more glossy texture and it had more imperfections in my opinion than a lot of the other sets. Like right there, you think that's fine. It looks like the slightest type of indent. Not the easiest to see, and maybe a grader would just ignore it, and it just happened from printing. But I wouldn't submit it regardless of centering just because of that. Like centering's 60-40, but like it's pushing it. I wouldn't send it just because it's not worth the risk financially. Then you have like that little issue right there, that little indent, little scratch over there. So, like, none of the cards that I've showed you deserve a 10, in my opinion, so far. Let me know if y'all think any of those deserve a 10. If you look at cards like that, if you don't look at them like that, let me know. I'm curious, because I know most people don't grade like I do. They just send willy-nilly a lot of times, and then they get upset if they get a certain grade. Like, if I get mad at a grade, odds are it's probably bullshit. Or I look at it, and then, there's a chance that I just forgot. I'm human. That shit happens. I've done it before. This is from MetaZoo Pin Club. This was before the last two cards set-wise, but it was actually a very, very good quality set. Very clean card. No scratches, no nothing. Decently centered. No nicks on top like a lot of these have. Why the fuck didn't I grade this? Starting to reconsider why have I not graded this? Yeah, I'm looking. Oh, that's why. So this is another thing that I don't take risks on with lower value cards. Is right over there. See that little circle indent? Still an airman card, but or like there'll be like the star imprint. I will not take the risk if there's an indent. I won't. Because sometimes, like, oh, they'll ignore it and they'll just give it a 10 because it's stamped. It's the same thing like playtester stamp. It's hit or miss on what you'll get. You'll get a grader that just ignores it because it's part of the stamp, or they'll dock off for it because it's an imperfection. And for a card that's like $9, $8 to $10, it's not worth spending $15 to grade. Because if I get a 9, I spend $15 to grade it, and then let's say sell it for $15, then I gotta pay $5 shipping. I basically get the same money I would get selling this raw minus the grading fees. It's not worth it. And some people might take that risk. That's not finna be me. And then last card, everyone's favorite, Kuromi's Cryptic Carnival. And talk shit what you want. Card quality on these was actually fucking amazing. From what I remembered. Like, the surface, clean, smooth. Like, it was some of their best quality. Like, these were great quality cards. Hate it as much as you want, but it was good quality. The only issue I'd say with this one, which I'd never really seen before, but you got that little issue right there. Little tiny like rollover. Like, you can't see it like that. You kind of see it shine in the light a little bit right there, actually. It just depends on how you hold it, because if you hold like this, you don't notice it. Hold like this, you start to see the shine and you look at it. Boom. Some people wouldn't notice that. Some people would still grade something like that and then get upset if it doesn't get a 10. It's still technically an imperfection, and it's at the grader's discretion if they'll still give you a 10 or not. I wouldn't grade it because it's not worth the risk. So, yeah, that's just a quick overview of like how I look at cards, how I, grade, and how people, in my opinion, should grade. Especially like if you have fuck you money, then sure, fucking do whatever. Even if I had fuck you money, I'd probably still look it over, because why the fuck are you wasting money for no reason and just waste time and effort? Like, just look at the card a little bit longer and save you the time of getting it back, paying for it, prepping it, getting it ready for shipping, ship it out. Like, that's so much more extra work for no fucking reason. Like, just look at it for another 10, 15 seconds and you save yourself so much more time. But so many people don't want to do that. Fucking people want to be lazy. Your money, you do what you want to do with it. But all right, that's it for this one. That somehow made it to 15 minutes. I'm not surprised, because y'all know I don't shut the fuck up. All right, I'll see you later. Peace.